So let's kick things off as we do with Will Richmond, digital news editor at the Herald News, to talk about the news headlines of the week. Hey, Will, how are you?
I'm good, Keith. How's it going?
Good. I'm glad to be back this week. I had the week off last week. Donna filled in, did a great job, and she'll do that more and more, so you won't have to see my ugly puss week in and week out. Anyway, let's get right to the headlines of the week. We mentioned it in our tease of the show concerning how the city is dealing with the opioid epidemic. And this week, the city announced an agreement between the city and the police union to actually have police officers out on the beat carry the drug Narcan, which, of course, many of you may know, helps offset the effects of an opioid overdose. Fill in the details on this, Will.
Sure. It's been quite some time now that it seems the city has been negotiating with the police officers union to get Narcan in their hands. It appears they have been training in that time frame before an agreement was reached. We are certainly still waiting as well to find out what this agreement entails. If the police are now carrying it, is there something that will be coming back their way, or there's some form of benefits or something in their contract that's going to support them on this level. But they are certainly, it's now in their hands. It has been in the hands of EMS and fire crews who have responded. So it's not as though the city has been without the use of Narcan, which is the opioid sort of antidote, overdose antidote.
Now, normally when city or officials negotiate with unions to change their contract, that's what actually this is here, right? Because there is need to be a change in the police union contract to allow them to administer this if they're the first responder, literally the first responder to a scene.
Yeah, it would seem, this is a change in responsibilities of duties that the police would be responsible for. Generally, those kinds of duties are pretty well laid out within contracts, unless it's the sort of regular responsibilities of a police officer. But it seems as though they had to go through the negotiation route to get this done.
And normally there will be some, as any negotiation, there'll be some give and take for the city wanting the police officers to be able to administer this Narcan. The police union is probably looking for something again in return, and as you mentioned, those details still have not been released. Any word on when that would be released? Would it be contingent upon the union approving this?
Well, it seems that it was mentioned that the agreement to get the Narcan into the officers' hands was being made right up until the 4:30 press conference on Tuesday. So it would seem, that it may be a matter of things have not been signed. There may be a handshake agreement at this point, but that it's something that we are following up on to try to find out just when or if this has been finalized.
Okay, let's move on now. This week as well, some good news for those in the economic development realm who are looking forward to the restructuring of Route 79 here on the waterfront of Fall River. Mass DOT this week announced that they are going to be providing this project as part of their 5-year capital plan, which is going to be beginning in the next fiscal year. This is something, Will, that has been talked about for quite some time, making Route 79 more of a boulevard and making it more attractive to attracting people to the waterfront. And this looks like this is the next step, and it looks like we're going to be moving forward.
Yeah, this would be the phase 2 of the project, moving on beyond what everyone sees the work happening now. So this would certainly be intended to open up more space in the northern area of Route 79. This is kind of the spot between the old Brightman Street Bridge and the city pier. So the idea is this would flatten out Route 79, create a more of a boulevard effect, and hopefully result in about 10 acres of land being opened up for development purposes.
And what's the timeline for this? Obviously, it's part of a 5-year plan, so has there been any determination on when we may be able to see some actual work down there on this?
Well, certainly it appears from the announcement the other day that Mass DOT is saying they are in favor of this project. At this point, the money would be included in their 5-year capital improvement plan, which is still being finalized. I don't believe that plan has been voted on and completed. So we will have to kind of wait and see, uh, timeline-wise, just when this money will be released, and then we can let the work begin.
So obviously, it's a step forward, but still not the final step in this process. But still good news for those who have been looking to, again, make that more of a boulevard area, more green space to tie in the city to the waterfront. So that'll be moving forward, and we'll be following that as the weeks and months move ahead. Shifting gear to back to other economic development issues, the state this week gave its okay to the TIF agreement that will allow Market Basket and some other companies to take over the former Harbor Mall site in the far south end of Fall River. So again, looks like this project is going to be green lighted and moving forward.
Yeah, this would seem to be one of the final steps in sort of the paperwork process to get this redeveloped. While this project only involves local tax breaks, if you look to the Amazon project as sort of a model here, they went before the same state board to receive state tax breaks. But once they received those tax breaks, that sort of green lighted the construction process to begin. So I think as we start to see, Kmart has been liquidating their assets within the store down there.
Right.
I believe there's one other remaining store that's been selling off everything as they prepare to move across the street to one of the plazas down in that area. But very shortly, all the existing tenants there in that plaza and in the old New Harbor Mall will be closed down, and it would seem work will start to begin very soon, hopefully.
Yeah, so that's good. Good things. Good always to see progress taking place in the cities, and this is another one of those areas. Speaking of progress, as we know, those of us who've been in the South Coast for quite some time, there's been talk for quite some time about locating casinos in the South Coast area, southeastern Massachusetts, and the Massachusetts Gaming Commission held a meeting today to continue that discussion. For those of you who don't know, there is a proposal from the city of Brockton to locate a commercial casino in their city, while simultaneously the Wampanoag Indians are looking to locate a casino in Taunton. I believe last week there was discussion at the Gaming Commission about the Wampanoag proposal. This week, the Brockton officials and those interested in the Brockton proposal came forward to discuss their alternatives. There is still a possibility, Will, that we can have two casinos in our region.
There certainly is, and yeah, the Brockton developers went before the Gaming Commission earlier today. They have claimed that the existence of both casinos will not be a problem for the region. The Wampanoag tribe recently came out with their own study that says the state would lose about $28 million in revenue if both casinos were to be permitted. So certainly the Gaming Commission is looking at a mid-April sort of time frame to make a determination on the Brockton proposal.
Right.
And this will come as well with the sort of unknown aspect of lawsuits against the tribe's proposal, their claims of the land in Taunton, and some skepticism voiced by the Brockton developers that the tribe actually has the finances to be able to get the project done in Taunton.
Right. What's important to note, and I think you can clear it up for me here, that the only proposal that's really before the Gaming Commission is the Brockton proposal, because that's the only project that they have oversight on. The Wampanoag is a federal issue in terms of their sovereign land, so that falls under different jurisdiction. Is that correct?
That is correct. The only effect that really the Taunton casino would have based on state law is that if a casino is approved in Brockton or anywhere else in the region, then the amount of gaming revenue that goes back to the state from the tribal casino would be zero.
Correct.
As compared to 17% if they are the only existing casino in the region.
All right, so casino gaming still on our radar. We'll continue to follow it. Okay, Will, what's going on at the paper this holiday weekend? It is Easter weekend.
Yeah, well, Sunday, sort of similar to you guys, we have an interview with Bishop DeCuna. We've talked to him. He's been in the diocese here for about a year and a half now or so. So we caught up with him to see what the challenges he's been facing in the diocese I've been, how his impressions of the area are, and sort of what his plan is going forward. We're also taking a look at the 2015 Fall River crime stats, which show where things are trending in Fall River. And if you haven't had a chance yet, we've got a quiz up. If you think you know about crime in Fall River, head over to Herald News and take the quiz, see just how much you really know.
I know. Probably most of us don't know as much as we think we know. So, all right, Will, thanks again. We'll talk next week.